I thought it was because the chord diagrams look like little cages. I got laughed at. B, F sharp. There are a lot of videos on the CAGED system. Why should you learn from this one? Well, most lessons on the subject are beginner's guides to learning chord shapes, backed up by a lot of music theory. This video will be the opposite. It's an intermediate level approach to developing a reliable and usable foundation for playing anything, anywhere, in any key. Critics of the CAGED system, whatever it really is, argue that it oversimplifies the guitar. Damn right it does. Therein lies the beauty. I'm going to take that simplicity to the extreme in this lesson. Ironically, when music does become harmonically challenging, for example, jazz, this foundation is going to be essential for dealing with that complexity intuitively and melodically. Beginners are absolutely welcome here, but please bear in mind that it's going to be a fast track to navigating the guitar. So if the chords go by too quickly, hit the pause button. Also, anyone feel free to hit subscribe for more lessons in more detail on the subject. So, what does the CAGED system mean? Well, to me, it's not really a system at all. It's just the act of giving names to the 5 positions on the guitar. And those 5 positions are going to teach you everything. I'm going to jump in the deep end and I'm going to show you how it works on a song first. Then I'm going to explain the theory and the process behind it. And then we're going to do it all again together on another song. How does that sound? So we're going to play a really simple version of Let It Be. We're going to play in the key of F major. Here are the chords. F, C, D minor, B flat, F, C, B flat, back to F. So you can also think of these as 1, 5, 6, 4, 1, 5, 4, 1. So these chords, these 4 chords are in a ton of different songs, which makes this really useful to learn. What we're going to do is we're going to play that in 5 different positions without moving our hand. So how do we do what we just did? Well, we're building every position around one of the F major shapes, and we're naming them after the open chords, the basic open chords that you learn when you first start playing guitar that have the same shape. So for example, F major here around the 3rd fret is called D shape. shape of our original D chord. It's a naming convention, but it's a lot more memorable than position 1, position 2, position 3, etc., right? So I'm going to build all of the stuff I can play in a song in F major here, 3rd fret area. I'm going to call it D position, because F is played in the D position there. Here, that's a C shape F chord. So I'm going to call this place on the guitar F major, C position. And what I'm doing is I'm finding the other chords in the song in every one of these positions. Look, F, C, D minor, B flat, etc. So you're working through each position one by one. And if you rewind and try to copy what I was doing, you will gradually piece together all of the chord shapes in all 5 positions, and you'll see a lot of repeated patterns. Now that might feel like a hell of a lot to learn, 5 positions and all of those chords. And what about all those other chords we might want to play? Well, you can do this methodically, and I would really recommend trying to master one position really well, feel super confident with it, and then move on to the next. Brick by brick, kind of, we're building our understanding of the fretboard. So in between playing the chords, I was also improvising little pentatonic phrases. I was trying to play as simply and as sweetly as I could under the circumstances. And you can actually see the pentatonic shapes building up within the shapes of the chords that you're playing. And there's one pentatonic scale for every position. Now at this point you might be going, hang on a minute, you've only been talking about major. What about minor? Surely there's kind of minor pentatonic position 1 to 5 and major pentatonic position 1 to 5. Not really. There's only 5 positions and there's only 5 pentatonics. It really is that simple. The reason it's that simple is because minor and major, for most of the music we play, are the same thing. This song is in F major and the minor chord in it is D minor, the 6th chord. D minor and F major are the same thing, and a huge number of songs work that way. So by playing F major, you can do all your D minor stuff. If you're in a song that is really in D minor, for example, what about Save Tonight? Okay, this is a pop song with the same 4 chords in it, but it is in D minor. You see what's going on, right? Even though it's in D minor, we can do all of the stuff we've just learned that's in F major. We're just starting on chord 6 instead of chord 1. Classical music and jazz, sure, minor gets a little bit more sophisticated when you get these cadences, but that's just some more vocabulary that we want to bolt on to our understanding of those 5 positions. So you can start adding more and learning more vocabulary that suits whatever style of music you're into playing. And that's where it becomes your own style, because you can start building your own houses around these 5 basic foundations. So to fully complete the process, let's work through another song together. I'm going to choose a completely different key, B major. It's about as different from F major as you can get, and it's a little bit outside our comfort zone on guitar. And the song we're going to play is Umbrella, and it's actually got the same 4 chords in it as Let It Be, but in a different order. So let's work through it together. Let's find our B major chords in every position that we can. So we can build our B major here in A position. I call it A position. The next one, B major in G position, is here. I prefer to play it like this. B major in E position is here. B major in D position is here. B major in C position is here. And then we're back to A position again, which is repeated up an octave. So the distance from here, there's a position here, one here, one here, one here, and one here. That covers a whole octave of the neck. Let's work through it. So the chords of Umbrella are E, B, F sharp, G sharp minor. So once again, calling them by numbers allows us to play them in any key without worrying where the starting note is. So we can call it 4, 1, 5, 6. And look, we've already done all 4 chords in the A position, which in this case is around the 2nd fret. Now, if we wanted to improvise around that A shape in this song, we can just look to the major pentatonic around the tonic, or the minor pentatonic around the 6th chord, right? Which in this case is... Check out my other video on pentatonics for more detail about this. But can you see the basis of them? You can almost see the pentatonic shape fitting around that. Let's move on to the next position. The next position we can play, I call the G position, because B major, the key chord, the tonic, is here. I don't like playing that note because it sounds muddy, in my opinion. I play it like this, and it's really easy. Also, you can do all of this nice triadic stuff. There's B. So the first chord in this song is E, isn't it? So let's play it like this. E, B. The next chord is F sharp major, which is there, and then it's G sharp minor, which is there. These chords are all quite easy to play, but I wasn't used to finding them in that context, so it's really good to practice. If we want to improvise around that, well, this is probably the best known pentatonic shape, isn't it? Can you already see it? Try to find it. Pause, try to find it. It's actually, look, you can see it already. It's the one we all learn first, isn't it? Remember, there's only one of them, and it's going to get you through a lot of songs. Next shape, B is found here. This is the E position, because it's the same shape as an open E chord. The first chord is actually E. Sorry if this sounds confusing. F sharp, G sharp minor, E, B, F sharp. This is a good position, isn't it? All the chords sound really good. Let's move on to the next one. The next one, we can find our B tonic chord in the D shape there. The first chord though, as we said before, is E, and we can find it here. So 3, 4. I'm not going to sing this anymore. F sharp, G sharp minor. This is a nice minor 7 position. I really like it, and it's easy to play, and it means that we don't have to move our hand out of position. Of course, if we wanted to move out of position to get a cool voicing, you can. There's no rule about it, but we're learning how to discover all of the vocabulary in this space as much as we possibly can. Once again, this is one of the most useful pentatonics and one of the least played. See if you can see it within the chords. Next position, we've got a B major here in the C shape, in the C position. So the song starting on E. 3, 4. Really good for those Hendrixy fills. That's the C-shaped pentatonic. And now we're back to where we started. So you may now ask, why are we doing this and how does it help me play music that's more complicated than with just 4 chords? So far today we've just done 4 chords. Well, the guitar can be really confusing, and it's easy to chase harmony and to chase licks around the fingerboard, and it's easy to lose sight of where we started. And where we start is always the key, isn't it? With so much of the music we play. And other instruments have ways of dealing with that. The piano has white and black keys, and it all makes total logical sense in every octave. We don't have white and black frets. A saxophone has one fingering for every way of playing the note. Once you've mastered the technique of that fingering, there's only one way to play each note. The guitar feels like it has a million ways to play each note, but none of them make any sense. And this is a way of making sense of it, because you can start to think of the guitar as 5 saxophones or 5 pianos. And if you learn how to play something really confidently and naturally and melodically in one of those positions, if you master one of those positions, it doesn't matter how complicated the music is, you can dance around it without having to look, without having to chase, without having to worry. For example, what's a really obvious extra chord that we can add to a song? Well, if we're in Unbelie again, a really obvious chord that happens in, ironically, a lot of Beatles songs is the 2 major chord. In this case, it would be C sharp major, right? That's non-diatonic. It doesn't normally fit into the key of B, but it happens in lots of songs, and it's a really beautiful thing to do. C sharp major in the key of B. How can we add that on? So if we're back in our E shape, right? B major in the E shape, we're going... Right? Okay, it's not in the original song, but you've heard a million songs with that in, haven't you? So we're adding that C sharp major chord in there, and I'm adding it in after the G sharp minor 6 chord. We get a major 2, the sun comes out from behind the clouds, and then we're back to the beginning of the sequence again. Okay, so now whenever you play a song and you want to play it in that position, in what I call the E position, now you know where that major 2 chord is. And what's more, you can see where you can improvise around it. Right? So now we can do that in some other positions. Like, take your time, step by step, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 ways to do it. Let's do another position, just as an example. Let's go one position down. You see what I added there? So you can do that in all 5 shapes. I hope you can see the light at the end of the harmonic tunnel. Yes, there's a ton of complicated stuff to learn, but there's only 5 ways to learn it, and it's so easy to play once you do. So how can we practice this every day? First, pick a song that you know the sound of very well and you know what chords are in it. And then randomly determine a key and randomly determine a position and play, and just get used to the process of finding the song wherever you are. This is how I do it. This is a blank 12-sided dice, or D12. Yes, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and yes, you should too. I have drawn the 12 keys on the faces of it. There are 12 keys in the music that we play. Today we have the key of A major. And on my 6-sided dice, the 5 positions that we're going to practice, and a cup of coffee, because you need a break. For example, today we're playing in the key of A major in the A position. Now we're going to practice in the key of A flat major in the D position. about the key of D flat major while we have a cup of coffee.